Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I'd like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube. Spirit keeps me going within self. On TikTok, 1974 Enlightened Soul. However, right now on TikTok, my account has been suspended again. But this time I did appeal it, and I'm also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I always recommend or suggest, encourage people to go read the description on my YouTube channel. Spirit teaching going within self to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on my content, my platform, my channel, what have you. Now, I know I was just in, okay, and I said I was going to be doing a lot today, right? So this time, see, there's a lot of talk about the Charter of Rights and the Constitution or what have you. Spirit, a few days ago, brought this, or was it yesterday? No, it was yesterday. Yesterday, Spirit brought it to my attention. I was coming in today, and then something else got brought to my attention. So it was like, okay, well, I'll do one, and then I'll do the other. So I already did the one about the history of the United States, and this time I'm coming in to do about the Charter of Rights and the Constitution. And when I watched this, it was like mind-blowing. I have the video here. Well, that's a nice video. Right here. Canada, the illusion. Okay. You know, my channel is not for everyone, but you know, I do encourage you to watch this. Because there's a lot of talk. I see a lot of things on Facebook, people putting up about, you know, the Charter of Rights, the freedoms. Okay. So it's that part, you know, just oh crap. Here, Rolly, just give me a sec. It's pretty late. Excuse me, Rolly. Thank you, David. Querida, por isso, né? Here's my lawyer, and he was the one who left me a bunch of legal books. I ended up selling the whole legal, letting a whole legal library go uh, for for $40. It was a donation, and you know I should have got more, but I wasn't looking at the money. I was looking at it that you know there are students going to school to learn law, so they needed the books more than I did. Because, well, Spirit was kind of preparing me that it wasn't that I was going to go look in all these books, because Spirit was going to guide me to where I needed to go and what I needed to bring forward. And it's intense sometimes. Right now, I feel the blockage. Somebody is trying to block me. It's like, what do you think you're putting in? So I'm going to start off because I have the criminal code. And it's like for the Constitution Act 1982. Okay. And then general. Privacy of Constitution of Canada. The Constitution of Canada is the supreme law of Canada, and any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is, to the extent of the consistency of no force or effort. It's going to get interesting, people. You know, I'm serious. Like, you might want to stick around and watch this instead of, you know, scrolling by and then going on your TikTok and scrolling through silly things, because, you know, you people are talking about freedom. How about Be enlightened. Constitution. Constitution of Canada. The Constitution of Canada includes the Canada Act 1982, including this act, the acts and orders referred to in the schedule, and any amended to any act or order referred to in paragraph A or B. Amendments to the Constitution of Canada. Amendments to the Constitution of Canada shall be made only in accordance with the authority contained in the Constitution of Canada. Okay, I hang around. Part 1. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. Well, God's rule of law is universal law. I felt that release. So, for those of you who know what universal law is, guarantee of rights and freedoms. Rights and freedoms in Canada. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in it, subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Okay, well, if you watched my video about the Sexual Sterilization Act, well, the ones that were putting together the Sexual Sterilization Act, they said that they didn't make the democracy for the feeble-minded and undesirables, were the ones that, of Indigenous, color, mental health, the ones that would be a bane on their existence. Go watch my video of the Sexual Sterilization Act. You might get enlightened. And just know that at the beginning, I started talking about free trade and tariffs. And then I realized that I was getting sidetracked because I was really in there to talk about the Sexual Sterilization Act. See, I can feel that. It's like, excuse me. Fundamental freedoms. Everyone has the following fundamental freedom. Freedom of conscience, consensus, and religion. Freedom of thought, belief, opinion, expression, including freedom of the press and other media and of communication. But we get censored on it. Freedom of peaceful assembly. We get told that we're causing a ruckus or we're terrorists. And freedom of association. Democratic rights. Democratic rights of citizens. Every citizen of Canada has the right to vote in an election, the member of the House, Commons, Legislation Assembly, and to qualify for membership therein. Maximum duration of legislative bodies. No House of Commons and no legislative assembly shall continue for longer than 5 years from the date fixed for the return of the writs at our general election of its members. Now, okay. Who's ready to go down the rabbit hole? Because see, things aren't as we think them to be. Are we free? Are we not free? Or have we always been free, but we've been lied to into believing that we weren't? So tita. I feel that. Good, but so let's get started. Okay, so I'll turn this light off because it's really irritating. It says the following film is entirely based on facts, not opinions. The viewer is strongly encouraged to verify each fact. I did watch it. And I will be pausing it throughout. You're blessed. In collaboration with Alexander L. LaRue, Doug Force, and The Myth is Canada. Produced by Consitution.
A land of endless opportunities, extraordinary beauty, and prosperity. A place that is known for kindness, benevolence, and generosity. A place that is built on courage, integrity, and truth. Or so it appears. Yet, something doesn't feel right. Can you feel it?
I'm going to show you something before we get going. What I show you here, I want you to keep in mind.
The underlying sense of unease and discomfort. The feeling when you know you're being deceived. And you're wondering, how big of a lie could it be? For how long have you been lied to? How much of all this is possibly a well-played theatrical performance? Or maybe it's all illusion? Is it time to see what is behind the curtain?
Going down the rabbit hole.
Is it time to resist the control system? To unplug from the matrix and switch it on? There is electromagnetic energy in that village between 260 meters away from us. Near that temple. In 1759, at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham,
Yeah, I'm here. British North America, 1791. Okay. Get back here.
To unplug from the matrix. And so
British North America before 1867.
in 1709, at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, Great Britain defeated France and renamed the colony to the province of Quebec. In 1776, the 13 British colonies to the south declared independence from Great Britain and formed the United States of America.
Did you hear that? In 1759, at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, Great Britain defeated France and reformed the colony to the province of Quebec. Okay? So that to me means it was all considered like what Canada would be, because it wasn't until 1776 the 13 British colonies to the south declared independence from Great Britain and formed the United States of America. Bitch. Yeah, you damn it. What up? What's up with that? Hey, Donald Trump, you know, instead of saying about Canada being your 51st state, hey, why don't you be the 11th province? And then in 1791, the Constitutional Act divided the province of Quebec into the provinces of the Lower Canada and Upper Canada. Yeah.
In 1791, the Constitutional Act divided the province of Quebec into the provinces of Lower Canada and Upper Canada. In 1840, the Act of Union moved the province of Upper Canada and Lower Canada to the province of Canada. In 1864, at the Quebec Conference, delegates from each colony discussed the desire to form a federal union, while each province would retain its independence and autonomy under the umbrella of a constitutional monarchy. From 1861 to 1865, during the American Civil War between the Union in the North and the Confederacy in the South, Great Britain built warships for the Confederacy, armed with British weapons. Many merchant ships of the Union were destroyed by the Confederate Army in Great Britain. When Lincoln won the war, he sought claims for Great Britain, but Great Britain refused. The Union then tried to declare war and annex British North America in 1866. In 1866, John A. Macdonald, chairman of the delegates from the colonies, participated in finalizing the Kingdom of Canada Bill.
Remember that name, Johnny MacDonald, because Pierre Poilievre, he speaks of him highly. Pay attention.
At the London Conference to draft the BNA Act. Great Britain had a dilemma. Risk a possible war with the United States of America, pay reparations for the sinking of the Union's ships, grant the colonies in Canada self-governance. Queen Victoria needed a clever solution. Lord Thring's brilliant scheme: keep the Canadian colonies and make them pay the reparations to the United States of America through taxation, while deceiving the colonies into thinking that they govern themselves.
To hear that, let's play that again. Into thinking they're governing themselves.
Brilliant scheme: keep the Canadian colonies and make them pay the reparations to the United States of America through taxation, while deceiving the colonies into thinking that they govern themselves.
Trickery. Chaos. Chaos magic. Illusion. British North America BNA Act 1867.
On March 20, 1867, the British North America Act received royal assent, meaning it was only approved by the Court of Chancery. It went into effect on July 1st, 1867, and created a united colony known as the Dominion of Canada. Until 1982, July 1st was celebrated as Dominion Day. Since 1982, July 1st has been celebrated as Canada Day, and the BNA Act was renamed the Constitution Act. Let us take a closer look at the original BNA Act 1867. Is the intended principle. And it states, by reason of the request of the colonies for federal government, it is expedient, therefore, that they have laws and regulations to guide them.
I'm going to post this stuff on Facebook.
This is the modified preamble. And it states, whereas the provinces of Canada, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick have expressed their desire to be federally united into one dominion under the Crown.
Let's finish. Okay. Federally united into one dominion under the Crown of the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Ireland, with the Constitution similar in principle to that of the United Kingdom. And whereas such a union would conduce to the welfare of the province and promote the interests of the British Empire, and whereas on the establishment of the union by authority of Parliament at its expedient, not only that the constitution of the legislative authority in the Dominion be provided for, but also that the nature of the executive government therein be declared. And witness it is expended that provinces be made for the eventual administration into the union of other parts of British North America. Be it therefore enacted and declared by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lords Spiritual and then find it. British, it was on, want to find that? It's in British North America Act. Her Most Generous Majesty Queen Victoria, she's dirty. The Imperial Parliament, and I'm saying it like she had her own shit, okay? But it's that part, the trickery. The imperial parliament by reason of the request of the colony's federal government. It is extended, therefore, that there have laws and regulations to guide them.
And it states, whereas the provinces of Canada, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick have expressed their desire to be federally united into one dominion under the Crown.
And we're the Maritimes. It's interesting. Very interesting.
The 1889 interpretation defined a British possession to be any part of a dominion, and it defined the term colony to be any part of a dominion. The Dominion of Canada was clearly a colony of Great Britain and not an independent country. The colony did not confederate in 1867.
Did you hear that?
The BNA Act was not brought back to Canada for the United Colony to sign and ratify. The original BNA Act is located in the United Kingdom and has always been the property of the United Kingdom and not Canada.
We're under the impression of stuff. Okay, so the Dominion of Canada was clearly a colony of Great Britain and not an independent country. Okay. But didn't people think that it was an independent country? The colony did not confederate in 1867. And that would say, oh, well, Johnny MacDonald, you're going to come to that now with regards to confederation. And, you know, Pierre Paul Villiers, however you pronounce his name, he's all for him. Que te parece, tata? The BNA Act was not brought back to Canada for the United Colony to sign and ratify. So if something was not signed, I have to ask, is it legal? Put some plugs in them then. I'm talking to my ex-husband. The original BNA Act is located in the United Kingdom and has always been the property of the United Kingdom and not Canada, and it was supposed to be. Over here it says, contrary to intention appears, have the meaning hereby respectively assigned to them, namely, the expression British Islands shall mean the United Kingdom of the Channel Islands. Okay, so the expression British possession shall mean any part of Her Majesty's domain. Okay, so this here, exclusive of the United Kingdom, these are the ones that he's pointing out. The expression colony shall mean any part of Her Majesty's domain exclusive to the British Islands of British India.
Section 2 of the BNA Act of 1867 declares that the provisions of this act extend to the heirs and successors of the kings and queens of Great Britain. Section 109 of the BNA Act of 1867 states that all lands, minerals, and royalties belong to the several provinces of Canada, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick of the Union shall belong to the several provinces of Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. All natural resources belong to the various colonies, with exceptions as per Section 109.
Did you hear that? It says that it all belongs to us. If it belongs to us, why the fuck is it being taken? Why are we poor? You know, everybody should be asking these with some
No
arm.
one seems to know this, but Amazon actually has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every single month. And here's how you can get it.
So it's, you know, Some of us are asking the questions, whereas others are saying, "I don't know why you're looking into that stuff." It's that part of, well, we're looking into it because it's our right to know. So it's that part of, when the people who are up fighting, you're going to want to reap the benefits when they're done, right? Yeah. Questa I might look like a crazy raging lunatic, but I'm not. And that's why you're witnessing what you're witnessing when my body goes through that, because that means truth.
More land was to be added to the Dominion of Canada through use. If the Dominion could use the land, then it could claim the land. In 1868, through the Rupert's Land Act, use of land was purchased from the Hudson's Bay Company.
How many of you are really familiar with the Hudson Bay Company? Because a lot of people are looking into that, and the Hudson Bay Company owns quite a bit of shit and places. Think about it. But keep watching, because it's getting even more interesting.
In 1870, through the Manitoba Act, and in 1871, through the British Columbia Terms of Union.
John A. MacDonald, Pierre Poilievre, hero. So, if he is Pierre Poilievre's hero, then I guess Pierre Poilievre would know about what's coming up next. Shit. Okay.
In 1871, the Treaty of Washington was concluded. It settled the claims between the United Kingdom and the United States of America, even though the United Kingdom never admitted any wrongdoing. However, it is interesting to see whose names also show up. Sir John Alexander MacDonald, Knight Commander of the Most Honourable Order of the Bath, a member of Her Majesty's Privy Council for Canada, and Minister of Justice, Attorney General of Her Majesty's Dominion of Canada. And Montague Hubert.
Did you hear that? And Minister of Justice.
Sorry. The Privy Council is a formal body of advisors to the monarch of the
They're stacking the
in this
deck.
case, Queen Victoria, Queen Joanna of the Queen representing Great Britain. In 1867, MacDonald was appointed, not voted in, as Prime Minister by the Governor General at the time, Lord Monck.
In 1867, MacDonald was appointed, not voted in, as Prime Minister by the Governor General at the time, Lord Monck. Look at that. So we're going to go somewheres because it says he was appointed not voted in as prime minister by the governor at the time. Keep playing.
In 1854, MacDonald, a Freemason since 1844, became a member of the Order of the Masonic Knights Templar. MacDonald got engaged to the much younger Susan Agnes Burnett.
Okay. So it's saying that he was appointed but not voted in. And now we're going to go here. And I know people say, well, where it is. But let's see what it says. Because, people would write this as being history, right? Let's go here. It's Wikipedia, Wikipedia would still have that in there, right? Okay. So let's read it. John A. Macdonald. Sir John Alexander Macdonald, when he was born, was the first Prime Minister of Canada. How the fuck? So guess who should know that? Shouldn't Pierre Poilievre know that? Might say it here, but the truth is there. The truth. The truth is in here. Start looking. Or realize that you've been lied to. And you'd be foolish to vote him in. When he himself likely already knows this. And he's just as corrupt. Because he looks up to this John Macdonald.
Cousin of Montague Bernard, who worked with British royalty in London in December of 1866.
And said he was a lot of people are talking about Freemasons, right? John Macdonald was a Freemason. He didn't pass anything, but, with Freemasons, you got your good side, you got your bad side. Just like anything. You got your crooked ones, and you got your up and up ones. Whoever said they're all corrupt, no, they're not actually all corrupt. But obviously he was one. Because this is where we're rewriting history. You were taught that John Macdonald was the first Prime Minister. And actually, he was appointed, but not voted in.
Married in February of 1867, 1 month before the DNA Act was signed. John A. Macdonald was the one who helped Queen Victoria achieve her grand scheme of deceiving the colonists into thinking they were now self-governing and confederate. He received generous titles of Freemason.
The schemes with the Queen. I actually had a heads up on this person in many ways that I believe him. I may not believe him of everything else, or all things, but I know that I'm being guided and I'm being shown. I love the spirit. I don't look for me.
British monarchy, in a much younger second life, in addition to his annual salary of $5,000 equivalent to $125,000 today, in return for a betrayal of the colonists.
He got money to betray the people. Fucker. You're so weird. You're so way. Get a second degree. I told you, put plugs in your ears. So all G's yourself. Don't like truth? Too damn bad for you. So it's that part of, the people working, like the people in the military. I feel for you deeply. I truly, with the stuff that you've gone through, or family members of people who were in the military. I feel for you, for what you observed when they came home.
In the Treaty of Washington, 1871, Germany.
And a message to the rest of you that are hiding and holding back this, and you know it. You're just as guilty as them.
Donald agreed to give the San Juan Islands and Point Roberts to the United States of America, in addition to granting equal rights. John A. MacDonald was the one who helped Queen Victoria achieve her grand scheme of deceiving the colonists into thinking they were now separate and a confederate. He received generous titles, appointments in British monarchy, and a much younger second life in addition to his annual salary of $5,000 equivalent to $125,000 today, in return for the betrayal of the colonists. In the Treaty of Washington, 1871, John A. MacDonald agreed to give the San Juan Islands and Point Roberts to the United States of America, in addition to granting equal rights to the fisheries for 10 years, because he was representing Great Britain and not the Dominion of Canada. How can we be called the father of Confederation and the hero by some, when a Confederation was never achieved, and when he in fact betrayed the colonists?
John A. MacDonald agreed to give the San Juan Island and Point Roberts to the United States of America, in addition to granting equal rights to the fisheries for 10 years. How could he do that if he wasn't Prime Minister? Oh, God damn it! Mightn't understand the language? Fine, that's our ancestors' languages. The same ones that tried duping us, and the same ones that suppressed us from being able to use our native tongues, our languages. Me, confirmation. Not very polite, but I said, excuse me. Excuse me again. And how can he be called the father of confederation and a hero by some, which would be your, candidate for conservative Pierre Poilievre? Burisita Puriana tutuya, sudutui. How can he be called the father of confederation and a hero by some when a confederation was never achieved? And when he, in fact, betrayed the coalition, he betrayed us. And Pierre Poilievre is backing him up. What a fucker! Dirty man! Seriously! You're a politician, all right. You're one of the worst ones of them. You know, it's truth when you're witnessing that is fucking truth. And people call me selfish. My ex-husband told me I didn't appreciate anything. Fuck you, you asshole. And I do call you asshole because you're the Uranus of the universe. So I call you Adam. What name would you like to go by? This is why you have divorce. Because they're trying to cover up these dirty deeds. And these others know because they should know the truth. Spirit guides me to it. Yes, fuck, she did hear us. What did they say?
Means of the letter's patent revocation.
Okay. Letters Patent Revocation Act 1878.
By means of the letter's patent revocation act of 1878, the British monarchy instituted the office of Governor General of the Union on a criminal basis. The most important part is found in Section 9 of the Act. The British monarchy declared full power and authority through letters patent, including their heirs and successors. Letters
What does letters patent mean? What is letters patent? Letters patent is a type of legal instrument in form. Are we reading that? Oh. A letters patent is a type of legal instrument in the form of a published written order issued by a governing body, such as the king, president, head of state, or head of corporation. What's up? You're going to hear about corporation. That gives a person an exclusive right, privilege, title, or office.
By means of the letter's patent revocation act of 1878, the British monarchy instituted the office of Governor General of the Union on a criminal basis. The most important part is found in Section 9 of the Act. The British monarchy declared full power and authority through letters patent, including their heirs and successors. Letters patent are an official declaration used to grant patent rights by the Crown and Chancery to officially grant titles and office to people or make other declarations. But this Letters Patent Revocation Act, Section 2 of the BNA Act, 1867, was now redundant. The provisions of this act extend to the heirs and successors of the kings and queens of Great Britain. On June 19, 1893, the Statute Law Revision Act was passed. With it, Queen Victoria explicitly repealed Section 2 of the BNA Act, 1867. This Statute Law Revision Act, 1893, was never repealed after it was passed, and Section 2 of the BNA Act, 1867, was never reenacted.
You know, it's like, no.
Queen Victoria died on January 22, 1901, from a brain hemorrhage while residing in Osborne House. Interestingly, during the same time as Guillermo Marconi fired up a very powerful radio wave at just 12 miles away.
Now, don't they say that the radio waves antennas don't cause any damage to people, but they're referring to Queen Victoria receiving a brain hemorrhage after he put that antenna up?
To their death, the BNA Act died as well. Through the repeal of Section 2.
Get that? Well, that died. The DNA Act died when she died. Due to the repeal of Section 20, Section 2.
No, because of the Letters Patent Revocation Act, 1878.
It's part of the family.
Because of the Letters Patent Revocation Act, 1878, and the Interpretation Act, 1881. Recall the definition of the term colony. The Dominion of Canada and the British monarchy carried on under Edward VII.
British North America, 1898, 1905.
More land was added via use to the Dominion of Canada between 1898 and 1905. In 1898, through the Yukon Territory Act. In 1905, through the Alberta Act. And in 1905, through the Saskatchewan Act.
Nobody believed you at first, but now everyone wants one. My friends roasted me for days, hanging out to blind.
Who owned the land of the Dominion of Canada? Did the land of the Dominion of Canada belong to the monarch? No. The Crown and Chancery held the title of all British lands, including the Dominion of Canada.
Now,
The Crown and Chancery is the Department of Lands of Britain. It was established by the Privy Council. The Crown is a corporation, so it represents
catch that? Corporation sold. and the letters of patent, you can be head of a corporation. Holy, holy, whoa, oh, shit, crap. Wait, minuto, tayo. Isso tayo to siya laki salay. Kursa din. Ito ko na. You know, shit, in 2020, you already tried to fucking tear me apart. Like, seriously, people look at me like, lady, you're fucking delusional. No. You have no damn fucking clue what I went through in 2020. April of 2020. It's like trying to tear me the fuck apart. And then I hollered for God's help. And when I hollered for God, a light struck me right between my lookers. Entonces tayo mo to kaya ulit na tayo sara. Sa sulit niya ano. Por isso que disse muito por aí. Por isso, Liliana, isso foi. For sale, you're picking a woman, right? Por isso, this one.
Who owned the land of the Dominion of Canada? Did the land of the Dominion of Canada belong to the monarch? No. The Crown and Chancery held the title of all British lands, including the Dominion of Canada. The Crown and Chancery is the Department of Lands in Britain. It was established by the Privy Council. The Crown is a corporation, so it represents the state in all its aspects. It can be used to refer to the office of the monarch or the monarchy as institutions. It can be used to refer to the rule of law or the functions of executive, legislative, and judicial governments. This is why all government and public land is called crown land until it was granted by means of a crown grant, also referred to as a land patent.
Land patent. Meaning of land patent. Land patent is a form of letters patent designed official ownership of a particular tract of land that has gone through various legally prescribed. And it actually means after that, then the prime owner land owns it. See where it is. Particular tract of land. They're also often used by foreign citizens. While land patents are still issued to indicate property is privately held, they're also often used by sovereign citizens and similar groups of illustrate legitimate attempts to gain unlawful possession of property or avoid taxes and foreclosure. Land patents are the right, title, and interest to a defined area. Okay? It is usually granted by seriously, look it up. I can. Mhm. Oh yeah. Here it is. Letters patent were issued to grant or confirm title to here. Okay. Put it. Oh, God, I'm gonna messenger. This is not the first. Go here. Go here. You go up here. And then we'll go here. And then we'll go right here. And we'll read down here. Letters patent were issued to grant or confirm title to a portion of land. They were the first title to land and served as proof that the land no longer belonged to the crown. I'll read that again. For all you landowners, this is for you. Letters patent were issued to grant or confirm title to a portion of the land. They were the first title to land and served as proof that the land no longer belonged to the crown. So get the fuck off the people. You don't own the property. How can you? Might look psychotic to some, but before you judge me, you might want to fucking know what you're looking at, what you're observing, and what you're fucking experiencing. I'll read it again so you understand what it's saying. And it's not because I think you're stupid or anything like that. It's because everybody's been programmed. And it's that part of when are we going to stand up and say, screw you because you don't own the land. We do. And this is at the Government of Canada Library and Archives Canada. As you can see there. Get the background of it. Switches, land systems. Letters patented were issued to grant or confirm title to a portion of land. They were the first title to land and served as proof that the land no longer belonged to the crown. So no matter how many times you sell that property, the land never belongs to the crown. you read that sentence again? Is what took us there.
No. The Crown and Chancery held the game that had British lands, including the Dominion of Canada. The Crown and Chancery is the Department of Lands of Britain. It was established by the Privy Council. The Crown is a corporation, so it represents the state in all its aspects. It can be used to refer to the office of the monarch or the monarchy as institutions. It can be used to refer to the rule of law or the functions of executive, legislative, and judicial governments. This is why all government public land was called Crown land until it was granted by means of a Crown grant, also referred to as a land patent.
So land patent, it's document, so it's the same as a letter patent. And I looked up. That's what it's different. Some people call it deed, right? It's, you know, play on words. But obviously, got the land patent and sold to people becomes a land patent, so the Crown no longer owns it. Crown, how can they take it from them? Obviously, they shouldn't be able to. You know, it's not that we've been allowing it to happen because we didn't know. So they were lying by omission. So what happens if you lie by, what happens when you're lying by omission? Does that not make a contract null and void? Oh. They let the people into thinking like the land was theirs, but they let the people into thinking that they could come and take it from them. When in actuality, they were fucking stealing it. But the people are the crooks. I think you should sit down and see people. Seriously. Sit with it.
It was just a figurehead. The king and the queen was not a sovereign any longer because they did not own the land.
Did you hear that?
Monarchy is institutions. It can be used to refer to the rule of law or the functions of executive, legislative, and judicial governments. This is why all of the public land was called Crown land until it was granted by means of a Crown grant, also referred to as a land patent. The monarch was just a figurehead. The queen was not a sovereign any longer because they didn't own the land. The governor general had more authority. He was also a corporation sole, given the sole government of the colony, with the assistance of members of the Privy Council and appointed by the Crown and Chancery. What is the difference between a monarch and a sovereign? The authority of government originates in the title to land. A king or queen is a sovereign when he or she has absolute authority over the land, and thus absolute power. The king or queen becomes a monarch when he or she does not have absolute authority over the land. The king or queen alone has no power. The title to all British lands was held by the Crown and Chancery and not by the king or queen. All government and public land was called Crown land.
Usually to hear that part of a king or a queen becomes the monarch when he or she does not have absolute authority over the land. The king or queen alone has no power. So why do people think that they have such power? Didn't it say that the crown was more of an institution?
The Governor General had sole authority to govern Canada as a corporation sole, with the advice of the Privy
That part's going to get interesting.
Council. He was appointed by the commission created in 1878, and not by the king, or the queen, or the House of Commons, or the House of Lords.
Say it again.
Crown land. The Governor General had sole authority to govern Canada as a corporation
Listen
with
closely.
the advice of the Privy Council. He was appointed by the commission created in 1878 and not by the king or the queen.
Let's see what privy. What is a privy council? Privy Council Office. The Privy Council Office is the central agency of the Government of Canada, which acts as the Secretary to the Cabinet of Canada, which acts as the Secretary of the Cabinet of Canada, a committee of the King's Privacy Council for Canada, and provides non-partisan advice and support to the Canadian Ministry, as well as leadership coordination and support to the departments and agencies of government. Okay, so Crown Privacy Council, sometimes called His Majesty's Private Council, but up here it says a king or queen becomes a monarch when he or she does not have absolute authority over the land. The king or queen alone has no power. So the king or queen alone has no power, but it's saying about in the Privacy Council. That it's to the king. I'm like, do a little more digging. And it says he was appointed by the commission created in 1878 and not by the king or the queen or the House of Commons or the House of Lords. There's commissions. This is all government websites doing it. Commission, 1878. Okay, and come up, Thrones of Canada. Thrones of Canada are the chairs for a monarch and royal corset or government general, usually located at the center chamber of parliament. There are presently 2 seats of thrones for the federal parliament. The first commissioned in 1878 and currently undergoing restoration, and the second made in 2017 in use in the temporary Senate while the center block of Parliament is under renovation. There are also thrones for the, okay, that is, okay, so let's continue. It might be long, but patience pays off. Believe me, patience pays off. It's going to get even more interesting.
Or the House of Commons or the House of Lords.
The work of Russell Roger Smith.
In September of 1926, Russell Roger Smith, the Native Sons of Canada, a movement aimed at fostering national spirit, creating Canadian nationality, adopting a Canadian flag, and having more of a time, presented a resolution to the Prime Minister at Kensington. One main request of that resolution is the necessity of elevating Canada constitutionally to the status of a sovereign nation and to confer on Canada an equality of status with Great Britain. It requested an equal and independent sovereignty under the Crown of Canada. Another request was that Great Britain should be able to Canada pay for any costs involved by Great Britain's defense actions. Another important request was that all natural resources of Canada belong to the people of Great Britain.
Hear that? Belong to the people, not Great Britain.
The resolution further
Purisita purie.
region be thought to be changed for the benefit of Canada. As we will see, it was the work of Russell Rogerson that would have paved the path to real freedom. In October of 1926, at the Imperial Conference in London, led by Lord Arthur J. Balfour, Mackenzie and representatives of the other dominions of Great Britain met to discuss and determine the status between Great Britain and the dominions of Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and the Irish Free State. The report concluded that the dominions are autonomous communities within the British Empire, equal in status, in no way subordinate one to another in any aspect of their domestic or external affairs, but united by a common allegiance to the Crown, and freely associated as members of the British Commonwealth of Nations.
He has underlined the autonomous communities within the British Empire equal in status, in no way subordinate one to any aspect of their domestic central affairs through united by a common allegiance to the Crown and freely associated as members of the British Commonwealth of Nations.
This was scheduled to be made law with the enactment of the Statute of Westminster on December 11, 1931.
Remember that date. Remember December 11th, 1931. Write that down. And remember it. Because it's going to tell you something. Statute of Westminster, 1931. I looked into that. Still looking into it.
Prior to the enactment of the Statute of Westminster, the Government of Canada was composed of the Governor General and a select committee of the Imperial Privy Council, which headed the Supreme Court of Canada.
I'll play that again. Keep these things in mind. Because it's going to come back. Yeah.
Prior to the enactment of the Statute of Westminster, the Government of Canada was composed of the Governor General, the Select Committee of the Imperial Privy Council.
Okay, we call that Parliament, right? Not what we call the Parliament, with a Governor General and a selected committee. That's what we have right now of the Imperial Privacy Council,
One of which headed the Supreme Court of Canada.
but at the Supreme Court of Canada.
A member of the Imperial Privy Council was a member of the Government of Canada. The House of Commons, the Senate of Canada, the Privy Council for Canada, which was appointed by the Governor General, and the Lieutenant Governors of the provinces were to aid and advise the Governor General and the Government. The Governor General was the sole government. Neither the Legislative Assembly nor the House of Commons were responsible.
So, who is our government? Governor General. Who is the Governor General of Canada? Mary Simon. Well, see, I hit the button because I just put in who was the Governor General of Canada, and it come up with that woman. Oh, it is the same. It is her. Okay. Oh, the picture looked different. She dyed her hair. Okay. Her Excellency, the Right Honorable, was sworn in July 26, 2021, as Canada's first Indigenous Governor General. She is the 30th Governor General since Confederation. If the Confederation was never put together, like this is all of us, affecting everyone. If the Confederation was never achieved, then how was she? This is how messed up they have it, everyone. Confederation was never achieved. John MacDonald never achieved the Confederation. So if he never did the Confederation, how can we have a Governor General? I'm asking the question. We're supposed to be, we were led to believe we were sovereign, but they're keeping it, they're backdooring us. Okay, like I have in my the picture. I have in my picture. Except I have it a different one. I have that, there's penis through the chimney, and they're effing us from behind. The chimney represents from behind. So to me, that sounds like it was all done illegally. Because if there was no Confederation, then how can you be following the Confederation if there wasn't? See, the thing is, if it's going on here, it's not just here. Only there's different names for it. But that's something you can look into. It's not to create, I'm not bringing this forward to create division and war. It's because it's not just one group. It's not just a color. It's not a sexual group. It's not, it's everyone. And some of these immigrants are probably, well, not probably, they're your family and my family that's just coming home. And the ones that are causing terror, they're probably paid to do that. The paid actors. That's why they don't get a lot of shit for it. Or, they get screwed over too, because there was this thing that George Soros, he paid some people in the States to go run amok. It's on both sides of our border, and according to the stuff, it was originally all what would have been one place. And no, Donald Trump, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the first 51st state, because Canada was first. Yeah. He's dying.
The council was a member of the government of Canada. The House of Commons, the Senate of Canada, the Privy Council for Canada, which was appointed by the Governor General, and the Lieutenant Governors of the provinces were to aid and advise the Governor General in America. The Governor General was the sole government. Neither the Legislative Assembly nor the House of Commons were responsible to the Canadian people. They were responsible to the Governor General.
For that, they had no loyalty to the people. They weren't working. See, that's saying there that Justin Trudeau had no real say over what the fuck was going on because it was government. It's a stage. And they're puppets. And the governor general can't even be a governor general because there's no thing. They were responsible for their own general only. Let me read that for you. Or here. Kuya muhese na hana. Kenush. Kurata te hise no ta pare ta ya. Sono consum. Semetia. Sure. Solo vima ta su kupite. Kurutiti no hayu. Kufuise. The House of Commons, the Senate of Canada. You know, here. You hear for yourself again.
Canada, which was appointed by the Governor General, and the Lieutenant Governors of the provinces were to
I'm going to keep.
enactment of the Statute of Westminster. The Government of Canada was composed of the Senate of Canada, the Privy Council for Canada, which was appointed by the enactment of
I
the
didn't say
Statute
I
of
was sex
Westminster.
smart
The
or
Government of
savvy.
Canada was composed of the Governor General, the Select Committee of the
Whatever.
Imperial Privy Council,
I just don't know it.
one of which headed the Supreme Court of Canada. Any member of the Imperial Privy Council was a member of the Government of Canada. The House of Commons, the Senate of Canada, the Privy Council for Canada, which was appointed by the Governor General, and the Lieutenant Governors of provinces were to aid and advise the Governor General in government. The Governor General was the sole government. Neither the Legislative Assembly nor the House of Commons were responsible to the Canadian people. They were responsible to the Governor General.
The governor general does not
Each
lead them.
lieutenant governor,
There's no
appointed by the Governor General, was also a corporation suit acting as the representative of the Governor General, and not as a representative of elected representatives or the people.
for you.
As we will see, the Statute of Westminster is the most important document in the history of the land mass of this chamber.
Minister. Statute Minister. Statute of Westminster, 1931. There's a date, a year. But I told you remember December 11th, 1930. The Statute of Westminster, 1931, is an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom that sets the basis for the relationship between the Dominion and the Crown. Also called Commonwealth Grounds and the Crown. Passed on December 11th, 1931, the statute increased the sovereignty of the self-governing dominions of the British Empire from the United Kingdom. It also bound them all to seek each other's approval for changes to monarchical titles and the common line of suggestion. The statute was effective. So they have to have each other's approval. So to get things done, they must have each other's approval. Just wait, others' approval for change. And the common line of succession. The statute was effective either immediately or upon ratification. And it thus became a stationary embody of the principle of equal equality and common allegiance to the crown set out in the Balfour Declaration of 1926. As the statute removed nearly all of the British Parliament's authority to legislate the dominions, it was a cruel step in the development of the Dominion as separate, independent, and sovereign states. Its modified version are now domestic laws in Australia and Canada. Keep in mind that date, December 11, 1931. It has been repealed in New Zealand and implicitly in former dominions that are no longer Commonwealth realms. You can go read the rest of it.
Each lieutenant governor, appointed by the Governor General, was also a corporation steward, acting as the representative of the Governor General, and not as a representative of elected representatives or of the people. As we will see, the Statute of Westminster is the most important document in the history of the land mass known as Canada. The only looked at the three key sections of the Statute of Westminster that apply to the Dominion of Canada. These are Section 2 removed colonial law from the Dominion of Canada. Recall, the Dominion of Canada.
Removed colonial law from the Dominion of Canada. What is colonial law? What is colonial law?
Colonial law refers to the legal system that governs a colony or colonies. It can also refer to the body of law that was in effect in 13 original colonies of the United States before the Declaration of Independence.
Anybody else catch that? What is colonial law in Canada? The doctrine of discovery and terra nullius are legal doctrines that serve as the basis for Canada's legal right to its territory. What is like Urita Purita time? The doctrine Gisumutai. But see, the thing is, if people went like, okay, because I felt that, and I'm rereading it, I'm going to sit with that. Institute sorry. مشكلة كيسلا كتي تطبريتي يا سودا. Colonial law, 1860, Battlety Act 18, and then 60, shall not apply to any law made after the commencement of this act by the Parliament of a Dominion. COMMENCENT. See, right there, I just thought of my sixth grade grampy, and it was that part of who took advantage of him when he couldn't read and he couldn't write. And you did it when nobody else was around. Kind of like what, Trump, when he's up there, he's not reading nothing. Didn't like that. Felt that. I'm just questioning it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm allowed to question, right? They do say question everything. But when it comes to your questioning, well, kind of like TikTok, because I was questioning about two people, and I better not say the names anyway. He owns a spaceship place, and the other one is your president, and it's that part of TikTok. But that's what I was talking about when they suspended my account. And aren't they trying to buy TikTok? Yes. Make some money off that, right?
That was defined as a colonial group. No law made by the Parliament of a Dominion is void just because it may not be in accordance with British law.
On the ground it is.
This section does not apply to Australia because Australia had a so-called Constitution in 1840. It was not a Dominion in 1932. Let's look at section 11. Section 7.
What's this say? 1 second. The last part, I felt that. Exactly. Corita, por eso não tu é. Pro. So So this is a part here. I'm questioning. Like, what does it actually mean? So let's sit and work through this. Okay. So it says here. I'm just like this is what they're saying is in there. This is not what I'm saying, and I'm not allowing it to be said. I'm just repeating what they're saying. No law and no provision of any law made after consessment of this act commencement CEMENT of this act by the Parliament of a Dominion shall be void or inoperative on the ground that it is repugnant to the law of England or to the provisions of any existing or future act of Parliament of the King of the United Kingdom, or to any order, rule, or regulation made under any such acts, and powers of the Parliament of the Dominion shall include the power to repeal or amend. Repeat molto breve. This is something I'm looking into. Let's look at section 11 before looking at section 7.
Did you know that when you wear lenses, your eyes become lazy? Instead, try these self-adjustable glasses that are taking the world by storm. They let you achieve a perfect 20/20 vision.
Either way, it makes your eyes go lazy.
Statute of Westminster separately between the Constitution in 1901 and was not a dominion in 1931.
Oh, the section does not apply to Australia because Australia had an so-called Constitution in 1931 and was not a dominion in 1931.
Let's look at section 11 before looking at section 7. Section 11 of the Statute of Westminster set the connection between a dominion and a colony of Great Britain. What does this mean? The key word is notwithstanding. It means section 11 overrides the Interpretation Act of 1889, which defined the term colony. The province was not joined as one colony of Great Britain any longer, and each province was also not a colony of Great Britain any longer. Who owned the land now? The people of each province naturally took ownership of the land. This also removed the Governor General because the Crown and Chancery lost the allodial title to the land.
I want to play that again. Please listen carefully. Okay? Because it's telling you that it removed the Governor General. So if it removed the Governor General, how do you have a Governor General?
There is no intermediate status between that of a colony and that of a sovereign state. No confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states. Section 11 finally raised each province of Canada from a position of a colony to that of a sovereign state. Section 7 is misleading in how it owned the land now. The people of each province naturally took ownership of the land. This also removed the Governor General because the Crown and Chancery lost the allodial title to the land.
The Chancery lost the allodial title. If any of you know what an allodial title means, it means the allodial title means that no one can take it from you. Okay? But if the chancellor don't have the allodial title, then does the land not belong to the people? What are you sure?
There is no intermediate status between that of a colony and that of a sovereign state. The Confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states. Section 11 finally raised each province of Canada from the position of a colony to that of a sovereign state.
Would you like to hear that part again? There is no intermediate status between that of a Commonwealth colony and that of a sovereign state. Okay, keep listening. No confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states. Now, if that's saying that, okay, then you look back at John A. Macdonald, you know, the person that Pierre Poilievre looked up to, whom he never achieved the confederation. So if he never if he never achieved the confederation, he raised us from we're sovereign states. I'm trying to figure it. Like I right now what I'm feeling is it's like people are trying to understand what this is saying and trying to figure it out. Holding on. I'm looking. Oh, yeah. This was done in 1889. So if that's saying that, then that means that from 1889, each province of Canada has been a sovereign state and not part of the colony. Oh damn it! Oh shit! God. We don't do that. Oh shit! The bloody thing. Oh my. Told you before, if you're witnessing this, it means that I'm right. Holy shit, man, I'm right light at it now. Wait, but yeah, go back and watch this video. Go back and watch it as many times as you need to in order to understand what he has bringing forward to you. And sit with it while you're watching this.
Section 7 is misleading in how it deals with the applicability of this statute to Canada. Section 1 attempts to exclude the BNA Act from the statute. However, the BNA Act was only a statute, a guide of the Imperial Parliament to aid the Governor General. It can only be effective if there is a duly appointed Governor General. See Section 12 of the BNA Act, 1867.
When he talks about the Governor General, Just remember that how is there a governor general when there was never a confederation chief?
Since the Crown and Chancery replaced the Governor General, gave up the royal title to the case of section. There can be no more Governor General. The result is.
You hear that? There can be no more governor general. And that was from 19, that was, that, yeah, pretty much that. Either 1889 or 1867. Point governor general gave up the royal title to
Subsection
the
is
land. Thanks to section 11. There can be no more governor general. But same here. You know, if you care, go look it up. If you want to keep living the way you're living and you're happy, maybe, you know, you got everything you want. But keep in mind, that it's not just you.
redundant.
Results, this subsection is redundant. So subsection section 7 is redundant. I guess that's what he's saying because of section 11. Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Excuse me. I'm not using it. Your veins. Great crap. What is that? What's the code? What's the body? What's the code? Si lo tutto pure che devo tutto tutto. Just too good. You know what? A little hard on the head too. Capito me subito. Coisa. Se lo tu perché io pure sito qui. Allora, questa ma tutto io sull'essere. Questo tutto è ton. Cotai, pure essere. Stimi tutto pure che. Io sotto tu
Subsection 2 clarifies that Section 2 of the statute removing colonial law also applies to any of the provinces. This makes each province a sovereign state, nation, or country, because confederation never happened. Only sovereign states can join into a confederation, and the provinces were not sovereign until the statute of Westminster was passed. Law also applies to any.
felt that right in my throat. Because I can tell when something just almost it's my body tells me that something's not right about it. So I'm sitting with this right now. Because the last part of it it's like going back and trying to figure out where to go back to. There's some question. But we were led to believe we were a sovereign state. Let's damn fuck. Listen. Look at me funny. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay, so if we were led to believe we were so mistaken, I guess we would have. If you could put it, I mean,
Many of the provinces. This makes each province a self-distinct nation or country, because confederation is irregular. Only certain states can join into a confederation, and provinces will separate until the Statute of Westminster is passed.
but keep in mind, when, John McDowell, your Fourier's hero, when he was in the Constitution, but he let people believe that he did. So then I guess, I could say we were always listening. Led to believe you are, and then they put something, something in since we went Westminster, and we had to help on it. So
Subsection 3 clarifies that the provinces can only act within their boundaries and can't impose laws on any other province. But what is the problem with Canada now? Is Canada defined?
I'm sitting with something. I'm going to be watching this again because there's parts of this that I'm going to be looking through. Like I'm supposed to be watching something here. Okay, there it is. I'm gonna play that for a second. Because in one part,
Subsection 3, clear.
okay, in the subsection 3, okay, I'm gonna look here and it says within their boundaries and cannot impose laws on the other province. But when you look at it's saying that I'm like, oh, asshole. Set. Yeah, I see that. I sure do. There it is. This must be changed or something. No, it's the same one. Okay, so when it says that we can't enforce laws on any other province or what have you, I caught this. It says provisions of Section 2 of this Act shall extend to laws made by any of the provinces of Canada and to the powers of the legislation of each province. But I want you to listen till after because I told you to remember December 11th, 1931 for a reason.
Subsection 3
Okay.
clarifies that the provinces can only act within their limits and cannot impose laws on any other province.
But up in the
What was
previous
the problem with
paragraph,
Canada? Is Canada defined?
yeah, it just contradicted itself. Because in one paragraph, it's saying, so it's saying in one that provinces can't do it, but within Parliament, oh, it's saying that the provinces would be restricted from being able to go against the Parliament. No, it's still okay. For any of the legislatures of the province. Yeah. So it's saying that, you know, you got it. It applies to the people, but not the Parliament and their legislative groups. Please, good.
Subsection 3 clarifies that the provinces can only act within their boundaries
Well, if we
and cannot impose laws on any other province.
put
But
it up
what is
there.
the Parliament of Canada now? Section 2 removed colonial law from the Union of Canada as it was a colony of Great Britain. And Section 7 removed colonial law from each province. Section 11 removed the status of colony, which immediately ended the Dominion of Canada. It also immediately removed the Governor General.
See?
There is no intermediate.
So if there's no governor general, like what's going on there? When you're doing something like this and figuring things out, it's sitting back and seeing what's good within the system and what's not good.
Intermediate status between that of a colony and that of a sovereign state. Sovereignty and the ownership of land go hand in hand. The Confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states. Each province of Canada was now for the first time a sovereign state. Section 11 removed the status of colony, which immediately included Canada. It also immediately removed the Governor General. There is no intermediate status between that of a colony and that of a sovereign state. Sovereignty and ownership of land go hand in hand. The Confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states.
But see, they were because it was impolite. Yeah, no.
Each province of Canada was now for the first time a sovereign state.
But it wasn't. It was all along.
This
Because of what John McDonald did. By leaving the people to read, it was so. They think it would have not worked well, but you know. It may have not been legal on paper. But at that time, they were led to believe it was. You know, some people have implied contracts. See what it's saying, right? So that would be very,
status has not changed since December 11, 1931. No province has held a constitution.
listen to this.
Section 11 removed the status of colony, which immediately ended the Dominion of Canada. It also immediately removed the Governor General. There is no intermediate status between that of a colony and that of a sovereign state. Sovereignty and the ownership of land go hand in hand. The Confederation happened because the provinces had never been sovereign states. Each province of Canada was now for the first time a sovereign state. This status has not changed since December 11, 1931. No province has had a constitutional convention.
This status has not been changed since December 11th, 1931. I told you to remember that day. Because nothing's been legal since then.
No province has seated a de jure lawful government. Extremely important. Every politician, every governor general, every prime minister, every law, every act, everything has been legitimate since December 11, 1931.
Illegitimate.
Anything that is passed after this date is not applicable to the people of each province.
Catch up. Listen up today.
might have been hiding in plain sight. For over 90 years,
Shit. For over 90 years, since December of 31, or 1931. After 1931. It says it right here.
what happened after the statute of Westminster was passed? Did the people in each province a constitutional convention was instituted regional government? Sadly, no. Russell Rogers Smith said in the 1940s, what does the future hold? Is Canada to become an armed camp, each of the others front? Or can we unite to create a federal union, mutually adopting a constitution? It is very likely that many people did not comprehend at the time what the Statute of Westminster had actually achieved. The Great Depression also impacted many people who were desperately looking for help. In addition, it is likely that many of the politicians at the time did also not comprehend what the Statute of Westminster really meant. It seems that those who did not simply continued as if nothing happened.
There's a part up here that I'm reading. And I just, oh yeah, it just, it's like, there should be no coercion altogether, and it should not be by force or of arms. It says here, no sovereign state can coerce another sovereign state except by force or arms. Well, how about you not coerce at all, or use force or arms, and just work together? Or, like, holy shit. Seriously, that's something that would be thrown in there, like saying that, oh no, you want this property and stuff, you gotta force it. You gotta like force of arms. Bullshit. How about you not use force or arms at all and just realize, start fucking sharing. Learn how to get along. Why they call it free trade if they're gonna put tariffs on you? Because tariffs and quotas and the restrictions fully legal. Because they're doing all this stuff and they're telling you, oh, we're coming to a free trade. Well, free trade means exchanging goods. It's not implementing a tariff or a quota or a restriction. Well, good, yeah. We see what's there. So I guess you've been lied to about that, right? So what do they owe you? Everything they ever took from you. I feel that in up here. But seriously, you took it on lawfully. You had no right to take it. This is spirit to spirit. So if anybody gets offended, well, I guess like I said before, you must be attached to that spirit, or that spirit must be attached to you. Well, por eso le vivimos por ahí. Eso es lo que diría.
Russell Rogers Smith said in the 1940s, what does the future hold? Is Canada to become an armed camp, each of the others front? Or can we unite to create a federal union, mutually adopting a constitution? It is very likely that many people did not comprehend at the time what the Statute of Westminster had actually achieved. The Great Depression also impacted many who are desperately looking for help. In addition, it is likely that many of the politicians that listen to you will also not comprehend what the president of the state to Westminster really meant. It seems that those who didn't simply continued as if nothing happened. After all, it was a lot to lose. Section 109 of the Union.
And the one that we lose, the one who calls John McDonald here at Bolivier. Are you going to do that now, or did you already know? So I must say that you and the one in charge of the states had to collaborate with one another. Because, you both probably knew. Not probably, I know you knew. Second 48. What's that? Si tutupikay. Sile to jest mutasje jest taki tutaj. Where's Pierre Bolivier? Born in Calgary. I guess you're for the money, right? Are you the one that wants to make sure that you supply the gas and oil to Donald Trump because he keeps saying drill, baby, drill? And you want sustainable energy? That's not sustainable. Puta pare. You ain't for the people. You hide behind your religion. Or is it even your religion? Or you're just playing everybody?
In 1936, the Parliament of Canada attempted to revise the.
We talk about Justin Trudeau. We talk about Sing Ping or like, excuse me, I don't mean to get your name wrong. But I'm being honest, like, have a look at yourself. I read the 3 platforms. Well, I couldn't read for Liberal. But they showed more of the Green Party and the Conservatives and the NDP, the New Democrats. And the one that hit me the most was the NDPs. And it was more for the people. But the way things have been going, I'd be even questioning whether or not it would be upheld. But it made me cry, and none of the rest did. Because it was for sustainable energy. And if you're talking about the free energy, it really, it's not about people ruling over. We're supposed to be working together. But some are just working for greedy reasons. So Pierre Villiers, however you pronounce it, that's why I never really trusted a lot of stuff that he said. Because you brought your religion into it. But was it just to say so you could win votes? And so your home province can be even more wealthy, and then say that the East Coast, with Maritime Atlantic provinces, don't deserve any of that, deserve help? Seriously, man? Natural gas mainly comes from Nova Scotia. Fisheries mainly comes from Nova Scotia. There's a lot of shit that comes from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Labrador, PEI. And do you know something? A lot of those people are the ones off fighting your fucking war. God, yeah. It was Alberta that started the sexual sterilization too.
With respect to the Westminster Agreement, it seems that those who did not simply continue as if nothing had happened. After all, there was a lot to lose. Recall Section 109 of the Union. In 1986, the Parliament of Canada attempted to revise the Statute of Westminster. They wanted to revise Section 7 of the statute to give the Parliament of Canada the power to enact the federal constitution and to continue to be the act until such a constitution was in place. And the Parliament had this power. Was the Parliament legitimate? Parliament also tried to amend the DNA Act. However, the DNA Act cannot be implemented without a Governor General. The Governor General used to be appointed by the Crown and Chancery, but the Crown and Chancery lost the title to the man. From the official website of the Governor General of Canada. Until 1931, Canada's Governor General was chosen by the Assembly. This changed when the Canadian government began to make recommendations for the position. Who was this? Federal Governors General that changed in 1931. The authority to appoint the Governor General. Did they sometimes see this authority? Could they issue laws to it? parliaments are presented.
You're so pretty again. Not being rude, I have nothing against people from Alberta. I was there myself and I met some nice people. There's actually a doctor that I actually like, he was pretty good in it.
That did a detailed speech
At least he tried to help me in my own province.
about the constitutional problems. He clearly outlined the current status and the actions that should be taken. However, no action was taken. Did we simply say as a theory that they issue letters patent? In 1945, Dr. Cody, a member of Parliament for Alberta, addressed the House of Commons and presented a detailed speech about the constitutional problems. He clearly outlined the current status and the actions that should be taken. However, no action was taken. In 1947, Prime Minister Mackenzie King issued letters
Not legal.
from the Governor General. These letters patent were signed only by Mackenzie King. To this day, only the Lord High Commissioner of Great Britain, the Crown and Chancery, can issue letters patent. Nobody else has the power or authority to issue letters patent. The last ones that were issued are dated March 23rd, 1931. In 1948, the Income Tax Act was implemented by an illegitimate Parliament of Canada and signed by an illegitimate Governor General, Harold Alexander of Tunis.
Play
In
that guy.
1952, the Royals found
Listen to
the
this,
power or
please.
authority to issue letters patent. The last ones that were issued were dated March 23rd, 1931. In 1950,
Please listen. It says in 1948, the Income Tax Act was implemented by an illegitimate Parliament of Government. Meaning of illegitimate.
Here's the definition of illegitimate. Not authorized by the law, not in accordance with accepted standards or rules.
So illegitimate Parliament of Canada and signed by an illegitimate Governor General, Harold Alexander of Tunis. I felt that. I probably pronounced the last name wrong, but you know. So it was the Income Tax Act. Okay, so if the government of general is the lead of the parliament, from what I understood earlier, then if the governor is illegitimate, and it's been illegitimate since 1931. So there is no income tax. So if there's no one to implement it, how can that tax that income tax on people?
by an illegitimate Parliament of Canada and signed in 1931. In 1948, the Income Tax Act was implemented by an illegitimate Parliament of Canada and signed by an illegitimate Governor General, Harold Alexander of Tunis. In 1952, the Royal Scotland Title Act was enacted by an illegitimate Parliament of Canada, in which the Parliament of Canada consented that Elizabeth II herself to be the queen and rule Canada.
Remember what illegitimate means? Meaning of illegitimate.
Here's the definition of illegitimate. Not authorized by the law, not in accordance with accepted standards or rules.
No one was authorized to do that. To live in the second.
With Canada, in which
Let's read this. 1952, the Royal Style and Titles Act was enacted by an illegitimate Parliament of Canada, in which the Parliament of Canada assented that Elizabeth II would proclaim herself to be the queen in right of, but she legally could not do that. So according to that, she's never been legitimately the queen because nobody legitimate is able to do that. And because the parliament was in. So since I guess so, what that's saying is since 1952, there's been no king of Canada. So if that's true, then I have even believe it. Because, they don't pay taxes to the Slovan. They pay taxes to, I think it's the Dutch something. Who does the crown pay taxes to? Oh, sorry, it's called a sovereign grant. They don't pay for that. It's pretty interesting. It's interesting, but that's what it is. It's a duchy's something or other.
the Parliament of Canada assented that Elizabeth II would proclaim herself to be the queen in right of Canada.
But she couldn't. Canada Act 1982. This is Justin Trudeau's father. Well, I don't care either way, but he said father, Pierre Trudeau, sitting down with the Queen. She would have known that was a legal document. So she just committed fraud. Fuck. Oh, let's go campus. And so did Pierre Trudeau.
In 1976, Walter Cook, a member of Parliament from Alberta, wrote a letter to René Lévesque, Premier-elect of Quebec, explaining that Quebec does not need to seek a formal separation because the province has been completely independent and sovereign since December 11, 1931, just like every other province. How can you divorce when you've never been married? In 1982,
And there's a lot of us, like other people. There's hostility towards people from Quebec because of this. And Quebec is going and saying, like, they just want to be and they want to separate from Canada and they have to. She felt like years and was there, but the maritime provinces, they can go on. It may be the oldest. See, the thing is, if you're the oldest, why don't you look back to your own ancestry line? It'll take you right back to 1952 when your ancestors first arrived. And they went to Nova Scotia. So you're like, you think that it's not your family because you say, well, it's not my immediate family. But what if it was? One day it's going to be. And why I say one day it's going to be is because the Atlantic provinces and Maritimes and that, they're the oldest people. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be around. Whether you came from the States or not, because they lived there too. They've lived all over. So when people say about sending immigrants back, you might want to ask yourself, were their ancestors actually from here? and they were chased away. If you do your research and you look into your genealogy line, you might find out the truth. You might even find out.
In 1976, Walter Cole, a member of Parliament from Alberta, wrote a letter to Quebec, Premier elect of Quebec, explaining that Quebec does not need to seek a formal separation because the province has been completely independent and sovereign since December 11, 1931, just like every other province. How can you be divorced when you have never been married? In 1982, Pierre Elliott Trudeau initiated a grand deception that is called the Constitution of Canada, also known as the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This was the same, which many people strongly believe to be factual truth. Trudeau is simply patriotic, which means to transfer legislation to an accomplished country from its previous mother country. He thought to win this in 1867. Why did he leave in a photocopy? Why is the original document 1867 still reside in the parliamentary archives of Great Britain? Trudeau,
Because it was illegal. And they cannot see the truth.
urged all provinces.
You might not have that document. There's always a paper trail.
Is to ratify, which means to give formal consent to make something official, the document, so that Canadians could enjoy the Constitution as soon as possible. Did all the provinces sign? Was it ever ratified? Section 50 of the Canada Act of 1982 states that this act would only come into force under proclamation issued by the Queen of the General. And none of the conditions of Section 51 were met.
And neither one of them were legal.
Section 59 is equally important to comprehend. Subsection 1, paragraph 23. It shall come into force in respect of Quebec when they will be fixed by proclamation issued by the Queen or the Governor General under the Great Seal of Canada. Subsection 2. A proclamation under subsection 1 shall be issued only where authorized by the Legislative Assembly or Government of Quebec. Subsection 3. This section may be repealed on the day paragraph 23 comes into force in respect of Quebec and is amended consequentially upon the repeal of this section. A proclamation issued by the Queen and the Governor General under the Great Seal of Canada. The key phrase here is in respect of Quebec. Section 23. Minority language education rights. Citizens of Canada, whose first language learning is still understood as that of the English or French linguistic minority population, have the right to have their children receive primary and secondary school instruction in that language in that province. Recall Section 59, subsection 3.
It should be all languages. The opportunity to have available to you all languages. And when you have that, it will end up fighting. Because right now, with people, I have a language, right? It's a big time language. And my ancestors have a language. And the Mi'kmaq community have a language. And many other many other ethnic cultures and what have you that come they have a language barrier. But why is it always that everybody's gonna, it's always gonna be English? Why does English have to be the dominant language? Because it's the hardest language to learn, and it's not really a soft language. If you listen to somebody who's talking English, it's very, like, I'm not insulting because English people can make very beautiful sounds from their voices. But it's the way that we speak to one another. I mean, it goes in every other language too, but it has a specific, a certain monotone. Whereas, si tu reais can be forced. English can be forced. It's a struggle. It's a part of having the opportunities for everyone to be able to speak the different forms of languages if it's society. Because it was never beginning with an English speaking. Because it was Mi'kmaq, and then European cultures come in. Some spoke Celtic, some spoke German, some spoke Portuguese, some spoke French, some spoke Italian, some spoke Swiss. My great granddaddy, he spoke English, French, Swiss, German, and whoever knows what other languages. But it became in the, like, they were suppressed from those languages because they were told, well, you're the one with the language barrier. No. To take someone's language from them or feel like they have to suppress their languages because you don't want to take the time to maybe try and understand some of yours. And now, anyways, I can see, like, Quebec, where people say that they're ignorant. Well, if French is their native tongue, and they probably, some of them are probably going to give it to me if French is their native tongue, then free. Yes, no, they know English, but they choose to use French. So it's a part of, at least we put effort in to learning somebody else's culture. Given the opportunity on a more light level. So it's not hard to learn it. Because you have somebody teaching it as it goes along. Because nobody, when you're told that somebody can't speak a certain language, well, then it's very difficult for somebody else to pick up on that language. Because you can always pick up on language. They tried to suppress the indigenous, they tried the natives, they tried to suppress the settlers, the ones that spoke different languages. And it's still happening today. And that was in 1752 when they first come over and into the residential schools. So it's a part of you. Seriously, people. Recall section 59.3 in respect to Quebec.
in respect to
Right.
this section may be repealed in the paragraph 23. A comes in force in respect to this act and consequently repeal of this section. A proclamation issued with opinion by the Governor General voted against the Canada. This means that only Quebec would lose their educational right in the French language.
Now do you understand what was wrong about that?
iExcel helps my children learn at their own pace, starting off with easier questions and slowly moving.
What were the steps to ratify and enact the Canada Act of 1882? 1. All provinces would need to sign Schedule B of the Act, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. 2. Quebec would need to authorize a proclamation to enact Section 23, 1 of the Act. 3. Section 23, 1A would be enacted through a proclamation. 4. Section 59, 3 would be enacted through a proclamation to repeal Section 59 and renumber the Act. 5. Section 58 would be enacted through a proclamation to pass the Act. A total of 3 proclamations were needed to pass the Act. Which steps have been completed?
Steps to ratify and act the Canadian Act 1982. All provinces would need to sign Schedule B of the Act Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Quebec would need to authorize a proclamation to enact Section 23 of the Act. As a part of, we're going to get the right people to do the job. Rights and freedoms. Quebec would need to authorize a proclamation. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even say it. Authorize it. Proclamation. 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 To enact Section 3, 1A of the Act. Section 23, 1A would be enacted through a proclamation. Subsection 59.3 would be enacted through a proclamation to repeal subsection 59 and renumber the Act. Subsection 58 would be enacted through a proclamation to pass the Act. A total of 3 proclamations were needed to pass the Act. And my question is, if there was no Governor General, there was no Parliament, so there'd be no Prime Minister. So even if they tried to do that, how would it be legal? In all honesty, according to that, I don't see how we- I'm not asking. I'm saying I don't see how. which of these steps have completed?
None. The Royal Proclamation from 1982. From the Royal Proclamation of 1982. Now know you that we, along with the advice of Privy Council for Canada, advise a proclamation declared that the Constitution of 1982 shall, subject to section 59 thereof, come into force. Recall, subject to section 59 means two proclamations must be made before the second proclamation passed the act. Section 58 could be made. This Royal Proclamation, 1982, is only a proclamation stating that there will be a proclamation in the future. Nothing was passed. Nothing was enacted. There is no constitution. There is no charter of rights and freedoms. Royal Proclamation 1983 had nothing to do with the passing of the Canada Act 1982. This act simply converted the status of Aboriginal people from sovereigns to persons. Even the 1987 Mutual Accord and 1982. This Royal Proclamation 1982. So Privy Council for Canada, by this our proclamation, declared that the Constitution of 1982 shall, subject to section 59 thereof, come into force. Recall, subject to section 59 means two proclamations must be made before the formal proclamation passed the act. Section 58 could be made.
It says the 21st through 17th day of April in the year of 2019, 1,918. So on the 17th day of April, 1982.
This Royal Proclamation is only a proclamation stating that there will be a proclamation in the future. Nothing was passed. Nothing was enacted. There is no constitution. There is no charter of rights and freedoms. The Royal Proclamation of 1983 had nothing to do with the passing of the Canada Act of 1982. This act simply converted the status of Aboriginal people from sovereigns to persons. Even the 1987 Mutual Accord and 1992 Charter Accord failed to enact the Canada Act in 1982, also known as the Constitution of 1982. Reminder, everything since December 1931 has been illegitimate. Since the fraud has obviously continued, why would go back on its feet in 1982?
Okay. Everything since December 11th, 1931 has been illegitimate, null, and void. So it means that they were never using it because they were all put there illegally. But that's what's called stacking the deck. Kita por ini. Kira tutorial. Kita punya satu tulisan lagi. Sepupu tu punya suri. Sudah kata dari ibu tu punya hari.
Since December 1931 has been illegitimate.
That includes taxes.
Since the fraud has obviously continued, why would we not speak of Maybe over $12 billion in equalization payments.
Do that again.
Since the fraud is obviously continued, why would people not speak up about that? Maybe the over $12 billion in equalization payments that Quebec has received on average each year is better.
So, Justin Trudeau, it's you, because you spend a lot of time with regards to that. So, you all got your hand in everybody's eye. Do you know it? It says here, since the fraud has obviously continued, why would Quebec not speak up and call it out? Because these provinces would know this, right? It would be passed down. Some may not be fully in the loop, but the ones in higher positions, fucking right, dude. Is that part of, now maybe I can see where, some people would be frustrated with Quebec. So it's that part of, because of that, when they said that Quebec wasn't basically allowed to learn or continue their language or what have you, was it retaliation? Or were you targeted? Maybe I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but this here, maybe the over 12 billion, because it's not million, it's $12 billion in equalization payments that Quebec has received on average each year has played a role. Okay, were you being bribed? No, bribed to keep your mouth shut, huh? You knew that you were bribed to keep your mouth shut because you wanted to tell the people that they were, and that's why you were acting like a sovereign province, or however you refer to the province. It's not just you, not just there that's done it. Obviously, it's in other parts of Canada, the provinces of Canada. And I'm not saying that that ones in the Maritimes aren't innocent or innocent, because none of you are innocent. It's all guilty. So it's not part of asking yourself, how are you going to fix it? Because it's not that you should be back in government, because you've already proven to be fraudulent.
Let's take a look at the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Section 1. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in its subject means of reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. This gives the government the option to ignore the charter, and it is why the courts often side with the government. Section 7. Everyone has the right to life, security of the person and working for the core thereof is in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. What is a person?
All along, it's been Constitution. And if people don't see that, make the charter. Charters are legal, but they don't abide by it anyways because they know it's illegal.
Section 32. This charter applies to the Parliament and Government of Canada and to the legislature and government of each province. Does the charter apply to the living and women or only to persons? The charter is a reservation for ship or a written agreement.
The charter applies to the Parliament and Government of Canada in respect of all matters within the authority of the government, including all matters relating to the Yukon Territory and Northwest Territories, and to the legislation and government of each province in respect of all matters within the authority of the legislation of each province. So, if none of this is ever legal, so then that's not legal. So I just think that. Subreddit. Now you need someone who will listen to what it is that they want to see. I'm not talking about investing in all big corporations. I'm talking about social structures. Just the benefits. Not a corporation. It's not part of basically sitting down and collaborating. Talking. You're taking out the middleman. Because the middleman right now just seems to be causing more havoc than anything. You say you gotta have a referee, you gotta have someone in the middle, yeah, you gotta have the one in the middle that's gonna make sense to everyone. That's gonna make sense of it all.
Grant, by which a corporation is founded and its rights and privileges are Section 32. This charter applies to the Parliament and Government of Canada and to the legislature of the government of each province. Does the charter apply to the living men and women or only to persons? And the charter is a reservation for ship or a written grant by which a corporation is founded and its rights and privileges are defined. The ship needs to be chartered to live and reflect it.
Keep in mind, they're talking
The
about
person
how if the charter applies to living men and women or to persons.
is a legal fiction. A corporation is also a legal fiction, but not a person. The charter was meant to create a ship at sea, which was intended to bring maritime law onto the land. Few persons, the living men and women, would be brought under maritime law jurisdiction. This is where the whole province needed to sign the charter.
And that's why people are going out right now. It's universal law. That's what free trade is. It's a universal law. in a different sense. Because it's supposed to. Okay, going about that, let me rephrase that because it come off wrong. It come off. We live when you're living in universal law, okay? Everyone is supposed to be equal to. It's that part of we share what we have with one another. We exchange, we even exchange. Some people say, well, I have nothing to exchange. Don't say you have nothing to exchange. Because no matter what a system tells you or leads you to believe, you have a gift, you have a talent, you have the ability to create. It's just been suppressed, lied to you, beat you down because you're told that you're not a soul being, that you're living in an illusion because of corruption. It kept you thinking that or feeling like you were nobody, but everybody is actually a soul. Why he's really only is because we give them our power.
The charter differs from the Constitution is that the former is granted by the foreign government, while the latter is established by the people themselves. There is no lawfully established independent country called Canada. There is a geographical area that is comprised of sovereign nations and also known as provinces. How exactly is Canada defined in the Interpretations Act of 1885? Canada includes the internal waters of Canada and the territorial sea of Canada. Canadian waters includes the territorial sea of Canada and the internal waters of Canada. Internal waters means the internal waters of Canada. It includes the airspace above and the bed and subsoil below those waters. Territorial sea is the territorial sea of Canada. It includes the airspace above and the seabed and subsoil below that sea. The land is not included anywhere. Why? Because they lost access to the land until the Dominion ended with the Statute of Westminster, when the land was naturally returned to the people. You're the person, the old cow's name on all forms, IDs, licenses, passports, birth certificates, etc. You have submitted yourself to operate within maritime law. You own those privileges that the corporation brings to you, but do not include any rewards.
See, to me, but with the December 11th, 1931, there was nobody there to make those changes.
What is the solution? How do we get out of this? Do we want to get out of this? Educate yourself. Learn these facts. Break the patterns and indoctrination, like celebrating Canada Day and waving the Canadian flag. Educate your children because they're the ones building the future.
I just felt so many get like frustrated when it's said about with regards to break the patterns, like that it's celebrating Canada Day because it was all these Canada. But why does it have to be called Canada Day? You know, it's so maybe it can be still Canada. But is it really Canada? We are, it's changed. There's nothing wrong with changing it to like Sovereignty Day. Because if you look back in 1867 was when it became Canada Day. But if you look back at it, there was something about an act or something put in place in 1867. To go back to that, to the shooting.
What is the solution? How do we get out of this? Do we want to get out of this? Educate yourself. Learn these facts. Break the patterns and you own those privileges that the corporation grants to you. Those do not include inalienable rights. What is the solution? How do we get out of this? Do we want to get out of this? Educate yourself. Learn these facts. Break the patterns and indoctrination like celebrating Canada Day and waving the Canadian flag. Educate your children because they're the ones building the future. Use an Socratic method to break through the brainwashing, asking simple questions instead of presuming facts, which people feel like facts and news. However, tolerance and patience to those that have been looking from a deep sleep and are desperately looking for answers and support. For the people who sovereign province are ready, the Constitutional Convention will be held to elect delegates and agree on a provincial constitution, accepted by the majority of the people, after which every juror will officially agree to secede. This will all need to be done without prohibiting fees of any kind, for example, court attorneys. Only after each province has been properly established by the Constitution and the regional government, all provinces can vote if they desire to do so. Hold a convention to discuss a federation of the provinces. But even when the province to remain a slave to corporate, the illegitimate system based on maritime law for decades. Some people like it, but most of them. Waving and displaying the Canadian flag is not a symbol of freedom and free spirit, because it is the symbol of the trademark of a legal corporation. When you wave this flag, you are submitting yourself to the power of laws of the corporation. years, people did not want to hear the truth. The truth and speakers were repeatedly silenced. Lately, though, more and more people are suffering at the end of communism, and they do not like it. They see that something is deeply wrong. Since the people in the landmass known as Canada have been indoctrinated for decades and conditioned to be obedient slaves of the system, many will have to suffer immensely to be broken enough to accept the truth and to have the will to change.
Oh, I know now why I was thinking of 1867 instead of Canada, right? And it was the year that Queen Victoria, or that the British North American Act, okay? But when Queen Victoria died, that went away. So, according to this, like with regards to, I have it written down. With regards to the Prime Minister, not anybody else, the laws. So, I have to ask you that law apply to the law of having driver's license and a law of mandatory insurance. I'm not saying if these corporations are making good money. Okay. Should people manage happiness? It's looking in the system and finding out what makes sense. Not them just going and throwing on every different law because they want to, because they have no right to. Legally speaking, they're not allowed to do that. So that's what it says, that since December 11th, 1931, those laws have been no good. But it's a part of having moral values and common sense. And I'm not using common sense because, Pierre Cordier uses it. Because he just throws it out there, and I don't even think he's got any common sense sometimes. And then I'll be rude. It's that part of, man. Like, I may not have a university degree, and I may not have millions of dollars, and I may not own apartment buildings. But seriously, you own apartment buildings and you're screaming about it, you're saying you're going to help people. Yeah, where are you going to? Seriously, what? I'm going to remove carbon tax. Do you got anything else good other than telling people, axe the tax? Well, how can you axe the tax when the tax should have not legally been put there in the first place? And seriously, you're axing the taxes that your buddies put on, like seriously. It's like, man, is that the only thing you got going for you? Is telling everybody that you're going to axe the tax? Because there are people that don't think that it should be there in the first place. Many people that don't. Some people think, oh, well, yeah, we should have it there. But it's just money. It's just a way to make money. They have the resources already to make the proper changes. They're just holding it from you. And Pierre Poilievre, you're with, I'm pretty sure you're with Donald Trump of drill, 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 because the province you're from, they're all about drilling. And to be honest with you, I've seen some of the ones that they call them the riggers. I've seen what their family life is like. People have, like, they figured to me, the only way to make money is go drilling. Do you know the riggers that I've known? Do you know they were either alcoholics or they were cokeheads, or crack? Seriously. Get to get something. As a part, I don't care if you like me or not, because I'm the one making common sense. So if you're part of the drill baby drill, then you're not for the people. You're for selfish gain and popularity, because you're not being honest with the people. And it's not just you, because I've already said about Justin Trudeau. And I know people are pissed off at Singer, however you pronounce his name, because he was backing Justin Trudeau up. People say he just wants to stay in long enough to get his pension. And then the Green Party, it's just all about the environment, nothing about the people. But it's that part of, it's got to be all social structures, not benefiting your buddies that are billionaires. And, you all got these big businesses, so you can work with it and then laugh at people say, look at what we just pulled over their eyes. See, the thing is, I guess you don't care about family, do you? Not being ignorant, I'm talking about you cared about family, the family structure, not just your own, but the family structure itself. Then you would do what was right for the people, not for yourself, not to just benefit you and your friends. You want to sexual sterilize the people. You want to put them in holes. What's that kind of bird that takes its head and just shoves it in a hole or a crevice? Maybe you should go do that and try and see and understand those people, because that's what you're doing to them. I just say, with this, like, you can't say you didn't know, because you knew. So what right does any of you have to appeal? And maybe you should be told that you have to pay back all that money that you took from the taxpayers illegally. Because you own it. Like pretending that you were fighting back and fighting with one another and not agreeing on anything when, in many cases you were agreeing because you knew. So you were fraudulent to the people. And that shouldn't just be a slap on the wrist either. Because it was deliberate. Is that why some of the people stepped down, like didn't want to be part of it? I figured it would be caught. Just because you, like, feeling came forward and said about stuff that was going on, it doesn't, it doesn't free you from what you did. You still need to be held accountable for it because you were the one that made that choice to do it. And if there was extenuating circumstances, then maybe you should speak about it. But I think you knew what you were doing. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you knew what you were doing. So it's that part of, I can't say there's harm in it. You might say between your friends, hey, cool, you did that. It's like, hey, it wasn't cool. And if it was, we should do it to you too. Whether directly or indirectly. Because you got to know spirit to spirit. I said those spirits know exactly who we're talking to. It's like, wow, the money we fuck your own family with is an end of it. Because of that what you do to somebody else, eventually it comes back to you. People might say, well, you're coming on doing this. Well, have you ever watched my videos? I bring my own shit for you. It's up there and you get up there and you tell people, you're calling them to Christians and stuff like that. You're manipulating them. You're playing on people's heartstrings. But they'd say about like certain leaders, they need to know how to manipulate the people so that they can get what they need, right? See, a true leader doesn't go for what they need. A true leader looks out for the people. And a true leader will teach others how to lead. Because it's not about follow the leader. Because follow the leader does not represent self No, of course. Sit with it. Sit long and hard. Or, continue to live your life. Because you can only live it for so long. You hear the saying, the truth will set you free. Might seem like it, how can you be honest with people if you're not honest with yourself? Or, it's easier to continue to live, right? Discontent, boredom, light, spiritual union, balance, emotional loss. Discontent and boredom. This card signifies a time when you may experience stagnation, discontent, and boredom. Feelings of restlessness and impatience to energy. A relationship, project, or situation is moving forward fast step and could be draining you emotionally and energetically. You're longing for change, and although one door may be closing, don't focus all on your don't focus all your energy on it, as opportunities will soon knock. A window or another door can quickly open, and if your attention and awareness isn't focused, you could easily miss it. Watch for synchronicities, events that bring books, speakers, workshops, and new people into your life. Yeah, I like that because I'm going to a seminar thing into your life. And that means a lot of you are like, you're getting into books, you're doing different workshops to learn new skills, and some may be going to hear motivational speakers or just, someone talking. Any of these could probably hold a message for you. Have faith in divine timing and know that everything changes for a reason. This card acts as a reminder that it's a perfect time to evaluate and search within your heart and soul for fresh insight. Emotional loss. The number 5 emotions card comes forth at a time when you may be experiencing or grieving a loss of someone or something you were emotionally attached to. Honor your feelings. Only by healing and loving yourself, by letting go of the past, can you continue your journey. That's where we work through it. The suffering associated with this loss delivers profound wisdom and knowledge for your soul, your unique gifts, talents, and abilities, as well as your joy and sorrow. will not only make up who you really are, but better yet, who you will become. The painful experience of life are equally as valuable as the joyous ones. Focus all your positive energy on the good in your life and what you're grateful for. Use your healing energy in this way and try not to focus on what you lost. For new beginnings and happiness are just around the corner. Spiritual union. This card deals with relationships involving an emotional bond. It could be between new lovers, kindred souls, family members, friends, business associates, or partners. It could even relate to a project or specific situation. This would be the perfect time to realize that all relationships are really about you. Notice when you interact with different people in your life. Are they giving you energy or taking it away? Is there an even exchange? There should be an equal balance between giving and receiving energy. Relationships are mirroring images of your own life. They reflect how you feel and treat yourself, and how you react and respond to various situations and individuals around you. Each and every union is an opportunity for soul growth. That was boredom, emotional, and spiritual. Now it's balance. This card represents the need for balance and harmony with your inner life as well as with what's surrounding you in the physical world. This denotes that some lifestyle adjustments are required at this time. It could be associated with love, relationships, business, or even your career. The balance card is also being shown to you to make you realize that what you perceive to be happening around you is really an externalization of your inner process of conflict that you may be currently experiencing. This card will often appear if you work in the legal field or when you're involved in law-related matters. Have faith that justice will triumph as justice and karma go hand in hand. Take only what you've earned, treat people fairly, and don't take advantage of anyone. This is all part of living a balanced karmic life. When determining something, there must be a state of balance, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that you can make rational decisions and logical judgments. This is a time to be honest and caring and responsible for the choices that you've made, as well as the ones that will be made in the future. My hair. Ngayon, kumukuha po niya tayo so sulok ay saluyang light. This card resonates or reassures you that this is your time to be in the light. No matter what's happening around you, prosperity and bliss are promised. The qualities of this brilliant card are pleasure, happiness, contentment, growth, success, joy, and illumination. The light also brings forth new birth, a constant renewal of life. This is one of the best cards, if not the most positive card in the deck, and it is yours, and it's yours. This is now your moment to shine. The radiance from within you will be there for all to see. As people become attracted to the rays of your spiritual light, and by being compassionate, generous, inspiring, and a leader, many will benefit as they feel the warmth emanating from you. Be discerning, but also be open to whatever or whoever you're attracting, for your rays reach far and wide. The light card reminds you that because of its power, nothing remains in the dark. Through its illumination, truths and certain paths before you begin to emerge and can be surely seen. Using the energy of positive thoughts and continually thinking about the happiest and most joyful of memories will light the path before you even more brightly and attract exactly what you're emanating. Keep on shining. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings. Most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone who wants to be willing to receive it. I want you all to be very brave. Most importantly, be yourself, your authentic self. Be who you are, not who somebody says you are. You have to be. Be kind to yourself and others. Be truthful to yourself and others. And know that you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. Sending you love.